What's up, everybody? It's your girl Kiwan, and I am back with Tyler Perry Sisters, Season 9, Episode 6, New Normal. Before I start, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Click the notification bell button so you can be updated on every video I drop. Make sure y'all like the video. It helps me to stay in the algorithm and all of the things. So I appreciate y'all. My goal is to get up to 500, and then we're gonna go from 500 to 1,000. Again, I know it's a stretch, but I also know that I can get there. So I definitely appreciate y'all. I appreciate the comments, I appreciate the views, I appreciate the likes. I love engaging with y'all. Like, sometimes I'll wake up out of my sleep and I see a comment, I'll be like, oh, okay. And I'm sorry, that's just me. I like engaging with y'all. So, like, if it's unfavorable, I'll figure out a way to say, put stuff nicely. I don't, whatever. And most of the time, everything has been really favorable. But I like when y'all also help me understand, because sometimes it's something I may have not watched in a while. And so y'all literally help me understand, or, I like to look at other people's perspective when it comes to watching a show on TV, So anyway, I don't know why I said all of this. And did I tell y'all welcome to the new people? Okay, so listen, if you're new to my channel, welcome. I really hope y'all like my content. And to those who have been here for quite some time, I appreciate y'all. Y'all already know that. Yeah. So y'all, let's get into this week's episode, because it was a lot. It was a lot. The writers did good. I'm very proud of Tyler Emmanuel Perry. Listen, I don't know if that's his middle name, but that's what we gonna call him around here. Okay? We're gonna call him TEP, Tip. Anyway, so y'all listen, the episode starts with, we back at the bank with Maurice and Sabrina, and we gonna call that the Black Bank, okay? Over at the Black Bank, all right? And Sabrina fussing, she doing a little venting to Maurice, and he just sitting there amen and everything. He tells her, you a first round draft pick, and if you was on my team, I pick you first. And he also tell her, it's time to do her. The one, something about you got to get over one man is to get under the next one. Y'all, don't do that. Okay, that is terrible advice. That is terrible advice. But basically, Maurice want her to jump in a sack with somebody else, right? So apparently, since Rich done did whatever he did, now she wants to be outside. Maurice wants to teach her how to do a step and repeat. So apparently, a step and repeat is when you step into the war room and let a man clap your cheeks, and then repeat it, and then repeat with another man. Sabrina says that she's actually going into her whole phase. And I'm just looking at her like, Sabrina, if you don't go sit somewhere and heal, girl, I just don't think this is going to work out for her. I don't think this is going to work out in her favor. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments, because I really don't think this is going to work out in her favor. Anyway, we get down to the law office, all right? So Andy called Robin. She left him a voicemail this time. And it wasn't much to it, but just, she was agreeing that, they should just be friends and friendly, and that she needs to focus on her. But next week, she gonna go out to dinner with Doc. I guess he gonna ask her out for dinner or whatever. I don't know, but I need her to sit somewhere and heal as well. I just, unless she trying to use Dr. Vaughn for more information, and I just don't think that's fair either. Anyway, y'all remember Nurse Rhonda, the black lady over at Killer County? She called Andy, and then we found out that just last night, Dr. Cruz let another African American woman patient bleed out, and We find out that the woman name was Tisha Halston, and that was Andy's classmate in law school, I want to say. So that was a lot, right? Again, I'm sorry, y'all making all this noise. My nose. Hold on. Anyway, yeah, this is a lot. This is a lot. All right. So we got a bunch of storylines. Like everybody's storyline is moving along. So y'all, we get over to Karen's house and she comes out of her room. She's disoriented a little bit, somewhat delirious, and she's still looking disheveled. It was because she just been in a bed, right? So she feels like she wants to do something and she want to cook. Now, I did not know that Karen couldn't cook. I didn't know. So, Aaron, was like, hey, what do you need? He's being really soft with her. He wants her to, sit down. I'll order food. You don't have to do all of that. I just want you to relax. He want her to also spend some time with Faith. I think in this moment, she looked at Faith. He sit down and he tell her that, everything is going to be okay. Y'all, I cannot wait to Karen. I want to see the full circle of this Karen, like the evolution of this Karen, to see how she's going to get out of this, like what different steps she's going to take to get, like, I don't think you get past it, but to maneuver, to her new self, So, Leonard. Y'all, I really think Leonard secretly likes Danny, and I really think Leonard wants to be Danny's friend. Like, kind of like Paige. And even in this episode, you seen how the white people, like, was messing up words, but they knew they was on the right track. They was on the right road. They just kind of took a little detour. Okay? It was funny. I like that. But it seems as though, even though Leonard looked like he can't be trusted, it feels like he really wants to be Danny's friend. Like, I think that's why he bothers her. And I know we shouldn't say that. Like, if somebody bother you, that mean they like you. That clearly don't mean they like you. I think that he's awkward. And I think because he wronged Danny, he don't really know how to approach her. And he really needs to apologize to her for how he's been, like, mishandling her. But there is a part of me that feels like you really want to be her friend. Anyway, he goes over to Leonard goes over to Danny, and she was basically like, what do you want? And again, he always approach her. She never approaches him. And so he was like, well, I just wanted to make peace with you. Again, to me, it sounds like I low-key want to be your friend. But because I've caused all of this, I don't know how to come in to try and be your friend. So, he told Danny, I'm going to handle you at first sight. I was like, Linda, please, it's on sight. Okay? Sir, say it with me. On sight. All right? So, Bradley. Y'all know Bradley is Leland. I want to say Bradley Leland. The partner Bradley walked into Andy's office. And y'all know Andy still have that look on her face. You can tell something is going on. But again, if you don't know if you don't know the story, you don't know. But you looking at her, you know something is going on. So Bradley walks into Andy's office. She's knee deep in her phone. And he asks her, hey, you're okay. He asked her to, kind of do some legal things for her, send some stuff to the courthouse and whatnot. And so he kept asking her, are you okay? And she was like, yeah, I'm fine. And he was like, for everything that you've been through, like, you can take some time off. He said it's okay because you do seem distracted. So Andy tells Bradley that Andy tells Bradley about the Dr. Cruz situation, the Dr. Cruz and Karen situation, right? And we find out that is his golfing buddy. Didn't I tell y'all? I don't know if it was when everything was happening. I think last week when we realized you know, what was up. I said it. I was like, you know what? I believe he personally know him. And I didn't say that verbatim, but if you go back to my last maybe review or two, I mentioned it. I told y'all I knew he knew him. So we get back to the bank, and Maurice has a whiteboard out, and he's basically teaching Sabrina how to be a hoe. All right. She said, Maurice was like, listen, I want you to be one of my best hoes. And Sabrina was like, well, I don't think I want to be a best hoe. And she said, she don't know how. She don't know if she want to be the best hoe. Maurice tell her, when it's done, her middle name will be Ho. I was like, okay. He said her name gonna be Sabrina Middle Age Ho Jr. So he tells her the 3 rules for Hold'em. And the first rule is no falling in love, no kiss. The second one was no kissing in the mouth, and the last one was when they finish, you leave, or when you finish, they leave. We don't do sleepovers, right? So Sabrina think all of this stuff is a little bit harsh, and Maurice was like, harsh is the way to hold them, okay? And so he was like, listen, harsh is the way to hold them. What other nice hoes you know? I was like, this is so crazy, y'all. So Sabrina was like, well, is there any cuddling? Child, away. Maurice wanted to flip stuff over. He was like, no, it ain't no cuddling. The pillows are used for your legs, and that's it. So y'all, Paige knocks on the door, and she comes in, and she checks on Sabrina, and y'all know Sabrina still is a bit uncomfortable. No, not a bit. Sabrina is still uncomfortable with Paige because of the things that Paige had put her through, right? But so Paige tell her basically, I have your back, and nobody ain't gonna come mess with the family. And I was like, what is wrong with her? What is wrong with her? I guess. So Paige was like, listen, I got your back, and I can throw these paws. Maurice was like, throw hands. She was like, yeah, I mean, if you need me to throw hands, I got you. So Maurice was like, I taught her that. And I'm just looking like, and you proud? So Sabrina thinks that those two have a weird friendship. But Maurice didn't tell Paige, I'm teaching her some whole shit. I was like, wow. That's what we doing. Anyway, Paige said to keep conversations light. Don't share personal information. You probably need to get you a burner phone. Maurice tell her, listen, I didn't know you had a PhD in what they call it, prostitution. So Paige also tells her, avoid taking anyone back to your place because there can always be that one clingy guy that you just can't get rid of. Now, I ain't never had that situation. But if you did, drop it down in the comments. But don't tell us who. Just let me know if you had a clingy person. Stalkers is what they call them. Because I hope I ever, never, not ever in this life. Okay? I don't stalk anybody. And I don't want nobody to stalk me. You understand? Anyway, I also want y'all to let me know what y'all think about Andy's boss, Bradley Leland. Like, yeah, let me know. Anyway, Fatima calls Zach to check to see if he ate. He tells her, Danny ate most of the food. Zach was like, he's still struggling, basically. It's just life is happening. One thing after another happens. So y'all know how Zatima fashion. I mean, not Zatima, but Tima fashion. She tries to, teach, get them to see the bright side and whatnot. But she just was like, listen, I'm here. You gonna get through it. We gonna get through it. Right? So we get back to the law office. Andy asks Bradley, how long has that been his golfing buddy? And so Bradley said for many years now. That's a red flag because once again, I think that all the things that Dr. Cruz has been doing, Leland has been covering it up in some type of illegal way. So in order for Dr. Cruz to keep his medical license, but I want all of this stuff to hit the fan between Leland and Dr. Cruz so he can be disbarred and so Dr. Cruz can lose his medical license. All right. Anyway, Andy asked, has Dr. Cruz done anything questionable? And Bradley said, no. You will say no because, again, that's your friend. So he asked Andy what he asked Andy what did she have to do with this lawsuit and exactly what happened. So she explained how Dr. Cruz dismissed and failed to provide Karen the care that she needed, and it cost her baby, almost her life, and as well as potentially losing the life of the new baby, right? And so Andy also tells Bradley that Fatima was at the hospital with Karen. So she was there to witness all of the things that Karen was going through. So then he gaslights her by saying because Andy also explained to him that we had a second doctor to take a look, which was Dr. Vaughn. And, he figured out what was really happening in that moment. So Bradley tells her that maybe Dr. Vaughn did something wrong. You're not even holding your friend accountable. You're holding somebody else responsible, which further lets me know you do some underhanded, illegal things for that doctor. So Bradley asks Andy, was she sure? And so she explains, how the fetus expired when they did the ultrasound, and how Dr. Cruz wanted to put Karen's health at risk. And then Bradley gaslights Andy again, and he tells her that it doesn't sound like something Dr. Cruz would do. He asked, why would Dr. Cruz do such a thing? Andy was like, because your friend is a racist. And Bradley was like, this is ridiculous. Andy then tells him, listen, he had many complaints against him. And then Bradley then says, like, he has known Cruz for a long time, and he never heard him say anything about being a racist. He's a highly respected doctor. Yeah, but on top of talking about racism, we're talking about the crimes that he has committed by being a doctor towards black women, because that is a crime. Okay, you're unaliving black people by providing them with the health care that they need. But you instantly not talk about that and just talk about how much of a racist that he's not, which further lets me know that he is, and so are you, are a racist. Anyway, Andy tells Bradley that that it doesn't dismiss the fact that my friend lost her baby, her life in a life of faith. I mean, she was saying basically, just because your friend just didn't want to do his job, period. So Bradley then tells Andy, listen, maybe you're too close to this case because you keep saying my friend. But sir, you are saying the exact same thing when it comes to Dr. Cruz. You're saying that my friend is a great doctor. I golf with him. That's my go. You tried to disguise it and say, oh, that's my golfing buddy. I've been knowing him for years. He would never do anything like that. So you're just as close to this case as Andy is, because Dr. Cruz is your friend. And again, you've been doing some underhanded stuff for Dr. Cruz. I believe it, y'all. I believe it. So he was like, it's the way you defending your friend. And Andy was like, yeah, I'm going to defend my friend. But at the same time, it's not just my friend. It's other brown and African American women other brown and African American women that are having the same experience as my friend Karen. So it is what it is, right? So then he tells Andy, well, all of this sounds concrete. And he was like, come back to me when you have more concrete evidence, because this is just some printed out bullshit. Again, you are mad because she clocking your friend. So who's taking what personal? Yeah, you definitely been hiding some stuff. And I think if Andy keeps going with it, she's going to discover way more than what's what's beneath the surface. Like a whole bunch of stuff is gonna pop up. But, and I'm gonna say this, maybe it'll cost her her job, but maybe this will be her moving in the direction of starting her own law firm. Now, I know that she's a divorce attorney, but I didn't know, like, I don't know what type of attorney. I know this is malpractice or something, so I don't know if she does that as well. Like, I don't know, y'all. If you're an attorney, let me know, because I do not know. Anyway, we get back to Karen's house, and he asks, hey, do you want to call your mom? And she's just staring at him. Again, very disoriented, very, just depressed and not herself. And so he tells Danny calls Aaron, because of course everybody's calling Karen. She's not answering the phone. So I'm sorry, y'all. Aaron tells Danny that, Karen's not doing good, and she tries to cook, and Danny was like, oh yeah, she don't cook. Something is really wrong. So we're saying all of that to say her and Andy, they'll pass by later to bring some food. And so he was like, okay. And so this was another thing. When Aaron went to answer the phone for Danny, again, you can see Karen. They show Karen looking back, just looking at the baby. And for me, that's progress. Like, that almost make me want to cry. I just, ooh. But I'm not today. But just her looking at the baby, I feel like that's some type of progress. I don't know. So over at the Black Bank, Paige tells Sabrina how to be a hoe. She's adding in more. Her and Maurice are with the foolishness. Okay, I don't understand. So he's trying to figure out what type of men that she like. He listed all of these qualities or whatever, or attributes, I don't know, about a man, and in my brain all I saw was rich, except he wasn't bald head. So Maurice was like, I need you to work on your outfit. And so Sabrina was like, listen, I got something at home. And y'all know Maurice thinks that whatever Sabrina wear is hideous. Okay? And sometimes it's not always everybody's cup of tea, but it worked for Sabrina. And that's why I like her, because she's different. She different. And so Maurice was like, listen, I'm going to come pick you up. I'm going to come. And it was just that back and forward. And shout out to Tyler Perry, because we don't see that back and forward banter anymore as much. Let me not put that out there. But we don't get as much back and forward banter. The storyline is starting to move along. And so he was like, we can come, I'm going to come to your house to pick you up. So Paige was like, she was making that noise. And so Sabrina was like, so what's going on? Do you want to come with us? And she was like, my schedule was booked, but I'm sure I could come out with y'all. Like, girl, Paige, please, okay? Go ahead and have a good time with them people, okay? So we get to the gym. Zach, he made it to the gym. And there's this older guy, was talking to Zach. He asked if he can use the equipment. He noticed, like, he really noticed Zach. And so he was asking some questions. He asked Zach if it's okay, you know, and offer whatever it is he's going through, it's okay, and that I'm here if you need to talk. Like, you don't even know this man's name. But he introduces himself to Zach. He said, my name is Keys. And Zach was like, key, like a key, like a door key. And so he was like, yes. And so Zach was like, well, my name is Zach. And he was like, listen, no pressure, none at all. I just wanted to I just want to help you. Just look like something is really troubling you, young man. I thought it was good. He seemed like he's a pastor, though. Like, I wonder if he's a pastor. Anyway, Hayden comes in Fatima's office and asks to help her out with the K-Dub contracts. And he wants them to set up this solid foundation. So then Fatima gets another phone call because another basketball player, of course, I forgot his name from last week, Kendrick sent another basketball player to meet with Fatima about the contracts. And so the guy's name is Chaz Duncan. Like, I don't know if these real ball players, if it is, y'all let me know, because I don't know. So Hayden wants to get in on the train all of a sudden. So he promised not to overstep or get on her nerve. Of course, it seemed like he will. She tells Hayden, if you mess this up, they're going to find you missing. And at this point, I wouldn't want to cross her because she is pregnant and everything, right? So, y'all, Andy called Danny, and she told, she was telling, Danny was telling Andy what was happening with Karen when she talked to Aaron, right? And so they talked and laughed about how either it was Miss Lisa or Karen baked some chicken, but the chicken was still light skinned. Okay, if you don't know what light skinned chicken mean, that mean it was uncooked. No, ma'am. So Andy then tells Danny about Dr. Cruz and Benson. Oh, that was Benson, not Leland. I'm sorry, y'all. Bradley is Benson. And so Danny was like, I heard about a woman who was just unalive just last night. And so Andy tells her, hey, I went to law school with her. So they have the conversation about that. And then Danny asks, listen, where's my settlement check? Now, hold up, y'all. I really did thought that Danny got that settlement check, but she did not. So apparently it's a process, but Danny went ahead and maxed out her credit cards for a nipple ring and a gold vape, a 24 karat gold vape. And I want to say it was gold nipple rings. And I was like, okay, Danny, whatever. So back over at Karen's, Aaron tells Karen not to put pressure on herself, and she was just sitting there. She was looking at the food. She didn't eat the food. Again, progress is Karen getting up on her own, coming out to the kitchen and sitting there for quite a while, even looking at the baby. For me, that's progress. Anyway, Zach talks with Keys. He let him know how life is for him right now. And we find out that Keys lost his 3-year-old son to cancer. Not only that, he had to deal with sick family members after that. His wife lost his job. He told Zach, listen, you'll get through it with lots of patience and prayer, and just to take everything one day at a time and have wisdom or whatever. So he was like, listen, if you need anything, just contact me anytime. You don't have to go through this alone. When I tell y'all to be able to have someone to hold your hand through a lot of the things is such a huge blessing. I'm telling y'all, it's a blessing. Like, I know sometimes we think, we could go through some things alone, but not all the time. Sometimes you need that one good, trusted person that you can go through this with, men and women. That's just gonna hold your hand through it, not coddle you, not hold you accountable, but be able to help you see that there is a brighter side to things, right? So back over with Maurice, he gets to Sabrina's house and he come over with these dresses, and she was like, well, look, I have my clothes laid out. He took her clothes, put it under the pillow, put it under the sofa, under the pillows in the couch. I was like, okay. And so she came out in the first dress that Maurice bought for her, and it was a little, I mean, Sabrina looked like Morticia Adams. I don't like Sabrina with all black on. I think black doesn't do well for Sabrina's skin to me. She's more like a earthy tone, yellow, and that type. Like that for me, Sabrina's skin tone matches earthy tones, green, and all of the things. And he had her looking like Morticia Adams in that ugly dress. Then she had on them stockings. And again, what I may not like is what somebody else may like. All right, so y'all let me know what y'all think about that too, right? And so the second dress, it was an off the shoulder with the ruffles around. So I guess she really liked that dress. It was short, but it was longer than the other one. So we get back to Karen's house. She isn't eating, but again, compliments to her coming out of the room, getting into the kitchen and looking at the baby and sitting there in the kitchen. We just got to take this one day at a time, y'all. All right. So she checked her voicemail. It was Danny, and she gets a knock on the door. It's Zach. Zach stops by, and this is where the episode ends. Now, I know we all think, I don't think this anymore. I don't think that she's mad because it was Zach's baby that died. I think she's just mad because she lost a baby. Because even when you look at the clip from next week, she just dismissive, like, to Zach. And I think for him, his breakthrough is coming through other people. And I'm hoping that the conversation that Karen and Zach have kind of, help her out just a little bit. Just a little bit to get through. I hope something sparks in Karen, because she's just like Karen Light. Karen Lite, Light. Karen 1.0 is like, the people are at the mall, but ain't nobody shopping. But she not crazy, all right? She not crazy. She just, people are in the mall, and they just standing there. That's what I think about what's going on in Karen's head. I think the people are in the mall, but they just standing there. Okay? I feel bad for Karen. I do because, again, I couldn't imagine. I know people now who lost the baby at birth, and to this day, it's actually two of them. Now I don't want to put them out there, but they one has other kids while the other one doesn't have any other kids, but they every year, and their babies would have been in their 20s, young 20s, and so they managed to celebrate their baby's heavenly birthday every year, and I'm not mad at that. I don't know. I don't know if they still carry that weight, if they still feel a way about it. I never asked because I never wanted to pry. But yeah, that's a lot. That is a lot. All right. Y'all, that's all I got. But if you have not, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And click the notification bell button. Let me know what y'all think. Let me know what y'all think of the conversation that's to come with Karen and Zach. The conversation between Andy and Bradley. The conversation, with Karen making an attempt to get out of her room, moving from another place, looking at her baby. This whole phase that Sabrina getting ready to go through. Do you think is a mistake? Do you think it's not? I think it's a mistake. But whatever. Who else? I think I feel like I'm not missing anybody. But yeah, y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. I mean, yeah, drop down in the comments and let me know what y'all think about this episode or the clips that y'all seen for next week, y'all. And the next time I will see y'all is tomorrow for All the Queens Men and the Real Housewives of Miami. All right, peace.